When Chief of Defense and Army were Muslims, the complaint from Khan was both were complicit. NSCIA. The Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs (NSCIA) refuted reports circulating on international platforms and social media alleging that Christians in Nigeria were being subjected to a systematic genocidal campaign. The council described the claim as false, dangerous, and intended to destabilize the country. And everything is false and wants to destabilize the country, but it is obvious that is what is happening. According to Punch, the controversy followed accusation by United States lawmaker Senator Ted Cruz, who alleged that Nigerian authorities were orchestrating genocide against Christians and permitting the destruction of thousands of churches. In an interview with Fox News Digital, Cruz claimed that over 52,000 Christians had been killed in Nigeria since 2009, and more than 20,000 churches and Christian schools had been destroyed. He also announced the introduction of the Nigeria Religious Freedom Accountability Act in the U.S. Senate, a bill aimed at imposing sanctions on Nigeria's officials he alleged were complicit in religious persecution. Can imagine. In response, the president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Archbishop Daniel Oko, acknowledged that many Christian communities, particularly in northern Nigeria, had experienced severe attacks, loss of lives, and destruction of places of worship. CAN stated that the healing of the nation would require courage, the courage to face collective failures, grieve together, and rebuild mutual trust. However, in a statement issued on Friday, October 10, 2025, by its Deputy National Legal Advisor, Imam Eze, the NSCIA maintained that the reports accusing the federal government of aiding the mass buying of Christians were both malicious and baseless. How is it baseless? The council noted that Nigeria's negative global image was largely the result of the actions of certain citizens allegedly linked to CAN, who had turned self-denigration into a profitable enterprise. Really? The council commended a CAN official for admitting that both Muslims and Christians had suffered from insurgent attacks, but criticized the CAN president for making what he described as false claims. He said, the president's statement exposed the association's involvement in spreading misleading information. When the Chief of Defense and Army were Muslims, the complaint from CAN was that both were complicit, but now that all service chiefs, except one, are Christians, another culprit has to be created by CAN to malign Islam and the Muslims, the NSCIA said. People don't know what you are saying. You don't know what you are saying. The council further alleged that the anti-Muslim narrative was being promoted as a tool to exert political pressure and gain undue influence and dominance within the government. That's so manipulative of it. That's a lie. Now, wow, this lie. If a Christian says, the challenge is not if they are Christians because they act by taking command. Will you work according to the one that appointed you? It's another different issue. What they wrote is the truth about the situation of Christians in Nigeria, yes. Of course, they are taking the life of some Muslims, but there are some attacks that are targeted directly at Christians. So I don't know what this council, whatever their name is, what they are saying. Luke Takende says, where on earth is all the service chiefs are Christians, workers of iniquities? Don't mind them. Tahir Usman says, try to avoid religion being used to create small killings like done in Middle East and African nations of Libya and Sudan, which is a bad plan for Nigeria since at the time of Al-Qaeda war, which was the hidden agenda of Israel and US, Russia and Britain, so as to destroy all nations that are oil producers. Oil money shall not be reason to buy our people and destroy nation because they don't have oil. Think on that line. We need to try to tolerate each other in Africa with two religions unlike them. Idi Danladi says Christians are endangered species in Nigeria. When they were constantly attacked, important personalities and media, they are not talking. Now that America wants to act, the narration is suddenly changing. You can imagine. Let's call a spade though. Ozuma says, no Nigerian military have power. Mr. Man, a girl from beating safely and suffering your people, you are here talking like a foolish man. Victor Emo says, now religion be one of our biggest problem. True. So they still says the problem with Muslims in Nigeria is their loud silence when terrorist acts is perpetrated even against Muslims. They only find their voice when Christians tell the words of the buying. The NSCIA and JNI are both complete failures Muslims are by daily in Zamfara, Jigawa, Sokoto, Kebbi. They are all quiet. But when Khan speaks of Christians being bite, they show up. Khan does not speak for Muslims, they speak for Christians. And they have records of Christians. Bite, exactly. So if you have your own record too, why not say something about it instead of keeping quiet? But when a Christian says this is what is going on, you come and tackle it. This is what Jim Ayola says. The Almighty God has the power to have created physical, human and abstract knowledge objects in mono specifications, but created them in diversity. There are over 3,000 religious sects globally. However, these two sects, Islam and Christianity, have been at loggerhead since inception. The Middle East, their common origin has been in turmoil to date. Their areas of existence have never been at peace, neither compared to other countries and continents with multiple religious sects with no rancor. Still, they still says Christians are not in loggerhead with anyone. No. Muslims are the ones causing all manner of crisis. Where is the lie? They are at war with Hindus, Sikhs, Confucius, and all other religions. You can't fight everybody and claim you are right. Muslims need to push themselves, as in they really need to. Especially those ones in the north. They really need to change their orientation. Uzo Kadane says you people are known worldwide to be liars anytime, so we are denying it's not a new thing. Christians in Nigeria are bite on daily basis. Whoever that reported it to the outside, what do I do? Nigerian Christians are under serious attacks by Islamic sects. Not be small attack. Vivian says the problem of this country called Nigeria will come to an end if the so-called Sokoto Caliphate is destroyed. Because this is where all the evil befalling Nigeria is coming from. Sokoto Caliphate is evil, satanic and barbaric. That is why Nigerians will never ever grow. Nigeria will grow. Wilson says you only speak when Nigeria speaks of systemic genocide of Christians by the Islamic religious jihad. That is the only time you come out to refute the truth. When you said Islam is religion of peace, I wonder which type of peace Islam portrays, because everyday Christians are by even having accused of blasphemy. Somebody like you is in the position of calling the Islamic criminals order, but you refuse, keeping them as Islamic foot soldiers. Now wow. Palabelo says the Christian has a choice. It's either they should with devil countries or maintain the status quo. What's this one saying? What rubbish are you saying? You are enjoying relative peace, shoulder to shoulder. Which peace are you enjoying? Which are your peace? They deceive yourself there. Our lady says, before Nigeria go good now, when we keep religion and tribes aside, there may be something good will come out of Nigeria. Hey listeners, don't forget to like, to share, subscribe. Thank you for listening. See you some other time. Bye.